multitasking. I put the link in the chat if anybody is interested. So, what's different about today is that I am multitasking and the house is in motion. And so it could get interesting. Now I'm gonna keep my finger on the mute, or I'm gonna keep my cursor on the mute button. So just in case it get wild, I mean, I'm not saying it's any different than any other household in the wild Indian country. Okay, so but what I'm saying is that I'm going to keep my finger on mute, or my little tab on mute. I'm going to share screen. I'm going to do a little genealogy. I'm going to I want to try to help anyone who might not anyone, but I want to try to help a couple of people who might be interested in finding someone this morning that hasn't maybe started their genealogy yet, their tree yet, and talk about last night, which is in reference to Aboriginal TV, who had a three-piece. He actually had a show for the men only, then he did a show for women only, and then he did a final show that went out with maybe him falling asleep, and one at a time each one of the people on the panel just kind of you know wrapping it up. And so it's really cute, but it was absolutely a wonderful happening. So it was last night's show on Aboriginal TV's channel was the bomb. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to start sharing screen. But the other task that I have here at hand today is that I am my sister's not feeling too well, and I'm going to be doing a little kitchen work here for her. So here we go. Let me start with sharing my screen. So for me, my personal task is going to my personal genealogy task. So it's got three things going on here today, maybe four. One, I am going to be talking about my Jackson lineage out of Grenada, Mississippi. I am going to be doing a little cooking for my sister who's not feeling well. I am going to be talking a little bit about last night's three-piece over on Aboriginal TV's channel. And so coming back over here, because what I want to say to anyone who's watching is that what would be great is if I could get sort of a co-host, a person that would be willing to come on and hang out with me, so that when I'm sharing screen, I still have a voice on the other side that can say, someone's asking a question about this or that, or this kind of watching the chat. So, uh-oh. Okay, so yeah, so got a little argument. KSR was up. Peace and love to you. Okay, so I'm multitasking over here. It's late, so the house is in motion, and I'm still going with it. I'm going with it. I'm going to do a little genealogy. I'm going to do a little cooking for my sister, some simple cooking, nothing really big. So I'm in the kitchen, I'm working. I got the line open if anybody wants to get on the phone line with me. And I have the link in the chat, and I am hoping that, maybe someone will be willing to come up. I know it's a weekday. I have weekdays off. I do work. But it's lovely to me to have the weekdays off because I work early in the morning. And when I get off, I still have a whole lot of day left to do other things. But it means generally I can have possibly peaceful days off. So I'm looking for a co host who be willing to um, hang out with me so that when I'm sharing a screen, meaning I can't see the the chat if I'm sharing my full screen. I prefer to share a full screen, but let me try something. Well, because when you share a full screen, it's because when you share a full screen, you get to. So if I share yeah, so I'm sharing a screen. I was trying to share the screen in a way that I would be able to. Let's try this. But then it makes the screen smaller, meaning that the audience can't see if I do it this way. But I'm going to do it. Entire screen. So now I have the screen there, but when you're sharing, well, actually, I can't see the screen when I do it that way either. So I can't see what's happening in the chat. And that's why it would be so marvelous if I could get someone to join me. But I'm not going to worry about that today. I'm just putting that out there. So, maybe somebody will think about it. And I'm going to go ahead with what I'm doing here. So I can't see the chat. So I am going to just go on with talking and I'll check back and forth, which is something I usually do. Um, Here we go. Mike Jackson lineage. I'm going to do the full screen. Okay. All I got to do is press that. Oh, that made it bigger. But I could do it like this too. Oh, that's cool. That's everything. Okay. I'm sorry, y'all. We learning together. All right, here we are. I am talking about my Jackson line. Um, Now I cannot see my chat. I don't know who's here. I don't know if you're saying anything. But in order for me to do this, I have to do it this way. I have the phone lines open if anybody's entering, and I am welcoming anyone to join me on the panel. I'll just have to come back over periodically to see if anybody's there to bring up. I'm also doing something different this morning for anyone who may have just come in, and that is my house is in motion. So it could pop off. I'm talking about people getting cussed out. I'm talking about people signifying on each other. Okay, roast fest. I'm talking about all that kind of stuff. Okay, this is the wild Indians over here. Don't get it twisted. All right. Okay. I am also doing a few dishes and doing a little work for my sisters with cooking because she's not feeling too well. All right. So while I'm going to be doing a few things, what I'm going to put here, talking about my Jackson line. My father is, let's see if I can go from my father. So my father's mother's maiden name is Carver, which was once Metcarver. Okay, I'm going to go right from this screen and I'm going to show you that Orange Metcarver at the time. They took off the Mac and they're Carvers today. Orange, according to her source, should be the daughter of Mary Jackson. I am not sure, but I may have a correction that needs to be made, that she should be Matt Carver's daughter. So I need to make a correction. So I'm going to show you me make this correction because she's not attached. Orange and Eldina McCarver are not showing as attached to Matt Carver. This Lucius Carver is my grandfather. My great grandfather, my father's mother's father. Okay. So to make this correction, what you do, you go to Mary Jackson, who, as you see here, once married a Sykes. This is my way of showing Mary once married a Sykes, after which married a Mac Carver. Her maiden name is Jackson. So I'm going to go to her profile. This is the way I entered that. You have to do that yourself to get this. All right. So, okay. So what we see here is that the children here don't have a father in place. I know that Mac is the father. So what I'm doing is I'm adding a spouse and I'm doing something easy for me to get back to. And this one's father should be a Henderson. Um, so I'll do Phi of Elliot, last name Henderson. Okay, so now these people, when you go to the point of view for a tree, you'll see, I don't know why that didn't go here. So I'm going to delete him. Father of Elliot should have been here. I thought I had did that here, add spouse. Okay. See that? It didn't do it. I did do it the right way. So it should have been here. I'm not sure why that happened, but I'll leave that alone right now. What I'm doing, however, is now that I have Mac Carver, which was once Mac Carver, um, now I'm going to merge the two. Okay, so I'm going to pick up Mac. This is the best way to do it. Okay, it's just the best, easiest, fastest way to do it. And I'm going to merge him with the duplicate. Yeah. Oh, you want to lock it? Okay. Okay, so you go in there and you do duplicate, merge duplicate people. Huh? No, I'm doing it. I'm going to be in trouble. 1840. Yeah, that would be him. And as you see here, it'll choose this name unless it'll choose the name on the left, the first one, unless you select the. I want this pot unless you want me to get another pot. You want me to? I was getting that started. I'm in trouble, y'all. Hold on a second. Original night with, you could call me. Okay, so it, it's not usually as it's not usually as bad. So, well, let me come back. So, original night wolf. You might be at work, but maybe you could call me. Like at my job, even though it's a little loud, I'm working around machinery. I can still make a call. So, if you're interested in just getting on the phone with me, just for company, that'll be fine too. So, I'm not muted right now. I have to keep that in mind because there is a argument currently underway. So this is Matt Carver. He's he's my father's mother's father, and Lucius is my father's mother's father. Lucius is my father's mother's father, and Mac is his father. Okay, so now you can see that they are. Let's see, tools, viewing tree. You can see that they will show as connected to Mac Carver now. Okay, there they are. So Mary Jackson, and these are her orange, Eldina. I don't know. Okay, these three are attached to her and someone else that if I click, you'll see them here. But okay, there we are. There's Cato, who's named after his maternal uncle. So Cato, and then I usually put a slash. Well, usually here I'll put a parenthesis. I use symbols to help me out. I usually use symbols to help. Oh, I gotta light it. I thought it was lighting on something. Okay, good. I use symbols to help myself. So what I usually do, and if you watched me before, I'm gonna do a quick edit. Okay, if it is a junior, I use a small letter. That helps me visually. If I have any other notes outside of a last name, I usually use a parenthesis, one parenthesis. If this were a female, I would put a slash and then her married name. But if it is some note like why this is lowercase, if he's not a junior, like in this case, he's not a junior and it's lowercase. That's because I'm showing you that he has a uncle who's got his very same exact name. So it's after his maternal uncle. So Mary should have a brother. Let's take a look. Oh, I didn't press save. Let's see here. Don't forget I'm multitasking and I'm not doing too good a job of it either. My sister been back here twice with her hands on her hips. You gotta press save, y'all. So look. So remember, this is a male. Okay, a parenthesis instead of a slash. Slashes come before uh, married names for females. Parentheses come for extra notes about why something like a lowercase is a lowercase. So I have to save it for it to be effective. Now it should change up there. Maybe not. Yeah, there we go. You see the change. So now I want to show you after it says after maternal uncle. Let's see. Does Mary have a brother named Cato? She has siblings Frank, Albert. I think that should be after. I think that's not true. I think it should be after paternal. I'm not sure. I have to clear that up. So for me, I need to make a note for myself. I'm going to make a note for myself here in the suffix box. Find the Cato that um, find the maternal Cato. That this Cato is named after. Say, okay. Okay, so the way that I'm going to do that, I'm kind of far from what I wanted to do here, is I am going to actually tree search to find out if I have another Cato in here. Yeah, Cato Jackson, which should be after. He's 7 years older. Okay, so what it is he's named after his Cato Jackson, the big Cato Jackson. Well, let's see here. Actually, the Cato Jackson. This would be the little Cato Jackson, wouldn't it be? So I have that for me there for some reason. After maternal uncle. Is there a maternal uncle? So this Cato is actually born first. So the other Cato should be the lowercase Cato. All right. I'm going to leave that there. All right. Checking on my soup here. I'm going to leave this for me to come back and research. And the other Cato, I'm going to have to get back to and figure out if he also should be being named after a maternal Uncle Cato, because I don't have one. It's Mary's brother Frank who also has a Cato, which makes me think that their father's name might have been Cato. Mary names a son Cato. Frank names a son. Um, Frank has a son Cato. So generally, when you see names repeating like that, this is kind of loud, ain't it? Generally, when you see names repeating like that, let me come back over here and see if anyone else. Okay. Okay, let's see what you say here. Always at work doing live chat, so can't find the time to get in the chat. Do you ever stream on the weekend? I can possibly start doing something like once I'm off work or before I go to work, which would be like 4 o'clock in the morning. But it's possible, and I probably would. I just stared it off. You want me to take it off now? I would do that. I would stream on the weekend. Original Night Wolf, would you want that to be before work for me, which would be like 4 in the morning, or would you want that to be after work, which would be like 4 in the evening? Okay, so I'm just going to take a chance because now I think maybe. And you see here, there's another Cato Jackson here that's born in 1930. So that is definitely a name that has passed down. And what I'm going to do here, I'm doing just a search for Cato, and then I'm going to look in 1860 because I haven't been able to find. So I'm going to look for a census report in 1860. Oops, you got to be patient. Sometimes you pushing the button before things are where they are supposed to be. So now I want to restrict this to be near Mississippi. So in the database, I want to make this exact. It's appearing that in Florida State, Alabama. So Cato was kind of a popular. Oh, Snow Hill. I see a lot of Snow Hills. Okay, let's try editing, search, and adding a Jackson. No. Okay, that's enough for me. That's enough for me. Let me just see where Oh, Johnson. No, that was 1940. Okay, what I'm doing now is just going back to Frank to see where in 1870 it's not going to show me, but where did Frank say that his father was born? 1880, it'll tell us that. So here's Frank highlighted with his family. And okay, what I'm looking for. Okay, birthplace. Oh, I'm just doing too much. This is when you use the arrow keys instead of the cursor. So according to this, it's so hard to really trust, but it's saying that you're going to follow the quote saying that his birthplace was Mississippi, and here it says his father's birthplace should be, well, it doesn't have a quote, so maybe it's saying unknown. If there were quote marks there, I would think that would mean that he would be born in Virginia, mother born in, I don't know if that's Maine, but it's not Mississippi. This is Maryland, oh, North Carolina. Yeah, maybe. So let's see. Where's Mary? Mary, his sister, which is my great great grandmother. She's usually close by him. And there she is. This is Mary. See, there's Mac. See, where did she say her parents were born? Virginia. But there's no quotes. There are no quotes there. So Mac says his parents were born in Virginia. Mary says she was born in Mississippi. Well, Mac either. There's nothing there for Mac either. See here, Mac was a ditcher. Ning, do you want a lot of juice in there? You want me to put a little bit of juice? Okay. I eat what you don't eat. Okay, let's see. Let's see. Is anyone there? Okay. So maybe some people might be listening in. So I wonder if anyone saw the listened to or took part in the stream that was done last night by Aboriginal TV, where they were talking about the community. Let me just go over there and just show you. Let's see here. Hey y'all, I think I was missing for a minute because I saw my internet connection say it lost. What I was doing was showing Ab TV's, uh, showing a screen share of Ab TV. Let me try to do it again so you can see. If you, I'm pretty sure you all are probably um, over there with Ab TV too. Okay, let's see. You want me to put this in that same bowl, name? Okay, it's ready. All right, so let's see. Let me do that again. All right, there we have it. This was the first one. Let me go back over here. Yeah, I'm still here. So Ab TV, Aboriginal TV, and he did 3 hours with the men only, calling all men. What's the issue with our women? He followed that with a women only panel, calling all women. Why men ain't shit open build. And then he followed that. That was a 3 hour. And then he followed that with men and women coming together to change the culture. It was a great three play. It was really, really a good thing for us to come together and do. It got wild too. So I was in and out. I listened a little bit. I joined the panel for on the women and the men and women for a little bit, just for a little bit. But that was really good. I suggest you all take a look at that. Okay, coming back over here to my uh, Jackson lineage, and I am going to show you now about DNA. So this is going to be how I met the Jacksons. So my father knew that he was a carver. He really didn't know about the Jacksons. He This is my father's sister, and this is going to be their shared mattress. Okay, so I do not use DNA to trying to figure out where in Africa my family came from. I use DNA to make connections. So the DNA of my father and aunt, his sister, who share the same mother and father, brings back these people. Now, I had already found, looking at Mary Jackson, who I did not know was a Jackson. I'm going to show you how I found out she was a Jackson. In 1880, she was married to Mac Carver, living in a house with her husband and children. This is 1880. They're living Beat 1, Grenada, Mississippi. Mac Carver, Mary, Lucius. Let me put it on mute. How adore his complexion. We got a special guest, y'all. KSR in the house. Okay, I didn't hear. I didn't hear you. KSR, are you there?
It was chopping up a little bit.
Okay. How are we now?
Everything's good.
All right, good. I'm so glad that you joining us. That it really helps me to have a little company sometimes. Okay. So what I was doing,
Right.
I was showing. I don't know if you can see the screen or if you're just on the phone with me. Are you also able?
Not at the moment.
Okay. Okay. So you are on the phone with me, but you can't see the screens. So I want to describe something to you.
Okay.
Okay. So are you with me? I know you might be busy too. Okay. So what I wanted to tell you is, okay, what I'm doing is I am showing, I use DNA as a part of my toolkit. And I'm looking at and I'm showing how my father, how we were able to connect to the Jackson lineage and how I was able to confirm that with DNA. That's what I'm working on. So what I'm showing now is that in 1880 on the census, I'm showing that my father's mother's father is in the home with his parents. I'm gonna put you on mute for a minute. I'm gonna put you on mute for a minute. Oh no, I can't do that. I can't. Oh no, it's okay. It's okay. Life is happening, so it's okay. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just turn it down just a little. That's all, just in case something happens on your end. Okay, you with me? Okay, okay, good. I just want to turn it down just in case. Okay, so I'm showing that my father's grandfather is in the house with his parents, and we don't have any reason to believe. Uh, we don't know what her last name is according to records. But the way that I'm finding that she's a Jackson without DNA is that in by 1900, when I look at her record, I see that she has in the house with her. I got it turned down, so it's okay. Okay, that in the house with her. Let's see here. She is. This is 20 years later because 1990 is. I think there are some records, but very few records because of some fire that is claimed. So, but by 1900, we see her 20 years later. Her son Lucius is still in the house. He's 21. He's single. Mac is not in the house. She still shows herself as married, however. And she's got a daughter, Eldina, a daughter, Orange. And then she has a son in law, Gus. Orange is a Jackson. So we can know that Orange married a Jackson. But on the next page, my clarity in that she is possibly, or any other last name coming into view, is that she has a Andrew Jackson in the home with her, who is a nephew. Now, if he was a nephew that was on her, uh, on because he's a nephew of Carver, more than likely, I shouldn't say more than likely, but it's possible that he could be uh, coming through the Carver line and is one of Mac's sisters who married a Jackson son. But that was a hint that she could be a Jackson. So the first thing I did is I looked up and down, go back a page to where Mary is, and I look up and down and I see, are there any other Jacksons on the page with her? And there is a Frank Jackson on the page with her. And just seeing another Jackson on the page with her gives me the idea that I should research. Do you agree with that?
I agree with that.
Right. So I did a little research on Jackson. So what I want to show now is how you do that. What you do is, oh, and sorry, I want to show you something. So here's Mac. They're still married, but I guess they are separating, um, or they just have another home. He is up here uh, in the home alone, Mac McCarver. Okay, and I know that that's him based on his year of birth and the proximity. Okay, I'm on a live, Eli. Eli, I'm on the live. Okay, they don't listen. That's why I said it might get wild over here because these people come through and they be talking crazy. So, but okay, so we have a Jackson nearby, and so the way that you do this is you go back to the record and you have to view the record opposed to the image. When you view the record opposed to the image, you have a select a available to you that says view others on the page. Do you know about that, KSR?
No, I just started with Ancestry.
Okay.
Started with Ancestry.
When you are on a page of the census after from 1880 on, because it's not available in 1870, it hasn't been. I don't know if they fixed that or upgraded that, but you can go back and view the record. And when you view the record, you can actually select to view others on the page, and you will then be able to actually, what I'm doing here is I'm going to uh, this Frank Jackson, head of household, and now I have his family selected. So let me I'm gonna put a mute on the okay. So I'm back over here. Okay, so you can view others on the page. Once you view the others on the page, you can select the head of household or any of the people that are on there, and it will take you into the record for that group of people. Uh, so Frank Jackson is there. He has a son with the same name as one of Mary's sons, which is Cato. So I'm thinking they're probably brother and sister based on the year that Frank Jackson is showing up. So that was 1900. So that made me want to go back and look at 1880 again to see are they in close proximity in 1880. And in 1880, viewing the you have to view the record at that point opposed to I believe it's show. Sure enough, we have Frank Jackson, and he is just maybe two homes away, like skip one house, and he's still in close proximity to Mary, who married Mac McCarver. So I can pretty much guess that they might be related, whether they're brothers and sisters, maybe, maybe not. So then what you do is you go over to your DNA, and if you have happen to have files shared with you in DNA, you would do a shared match comparison between two people that you know are, say, brother and sister. I happen to have my father and his sister's DNA file. And then you can go and do a search. And I'm showing this on my share screen. And what I can do is either in surname matches in trees or match in name, like the file name, like if your name is Robert Jackson, it would show up. So I can do match name, or if you even have a name that you put together and it has Jackson anywhere in the name. So if someone was J Jackson 53, it would still show up if you go into a search box. So I'm going to do match name Jackson. This is match name by people, the way people select their names. So this is where I see they do have quite a few Jacksons, but this looks like about seven or so. And one of the matches is at 90 centimorgans, which is not, I think they would consider that a high match or something kind of high. So I would look at this match, and I would look at the tree of the shared match and see if there are any Jacksons in it. So this person does have a Jackson in their tree. When I open up the profile for that Jackson to look, it only says Jackson, no name. It happens to be that Frank Jackson. So here we have a DNA match who is linked to that Frank Jackson. And so I'm going to go back, and I'm going to do a shared match with that Jackson because he's definitely linking himself to Frank Jackson. So
Right.
once I go back here, I'm looking at the Jackson who came up in the search because he has Jackson in his username. And I'm going to do shared matches on him. And the shared matches that come up for him, which quite a few are the files that I have of my family. So my family match him, that person, and then we have, many I would say this is probably 50, 30 to 50, I'd say, people who match. And now to confirm that these are the Jacksons, what we do is we find a person with a tree that has a tree, because it'll show you no tree, so you can't, or unlinked tree. If you have an unlinked tree, you might be able to look in the tree and see a Jackson. But this one is a person who matches at 97 centimorgans, which is pretty high. And I can look in this person's tree and see what Jackson it is, and they're related to Frank Jackson as well. So they're related because the same Frank Jackson that is the neighbor of Mary's family is has a son Cato, who has a son Frank, who has a daughter Mary, who is the mother of this DNA connection. So when people share their trees, you are able to see how you connect, opposed to just that you have a connection. If people don't have a shared tree, then you can only assume by shared matches which way that match is going. But in this case, I was able to find a person who was actually saving pictures of. I'm going to show that. I was able to. Let's go back to. I'm going to go back to my profile. So in my profile, I found that just from saving Frank and starting a tree for Frank within my own tree, that I was able to find someone who was saving a picture. If you find someone who's saving a picture of a person that you're saving, although they may not have a tree, or your centimorgans might be so low that they don't show up even as a shared match, then you won't know that you matched them unless you find them saving a picture and you select them by name. So I would select Michelle Smith to see, but I want to go directly because I want to kind of wrap things up. I wanted to stay on for about an hour, and I'm pretty sure it's been much longer. So let's see. I'm looking for a specific, this person whose username is EUJACKMAC, which is, I would say, UJackMac. And this person was saving a picture. So let me just go into his photo gallery. Thank goodness for people who are willing to share, because if it had not been for people who are willing to share, then we won't be able to make these kinds of connections. So
True.
so okay, so he was saving this picture of Europe Jackson, which is a part of the family of Frank Jackson, which Ancestry shared with me as a hint. So when someone's saving a picture, you select their name. This person does not share a match with my mother, but let's see, does he share a connection with my father? And he does, which is 20 centimorgans, but he was not a part of the shared match. Um, Eli, I'm okay. Am I even unmuted over there? Let me make sure. Okay, I'm unmuted. Okay. All right. So what I'm doing is so when I pull him up, just because he's saving a picture, I'm able to see him and select him to see if he's a DNA match, and he is a DNA match. But I would never have known that if I had not selected his name and tried him against my father. So in ultimately, and where I'm going to end this at is that This person has been saving and has pictures of people in the Jackson family, and has taken a DNA test. And since now I'm more sure that our connection is due to the Jacksons being connected out of Grenada, Mississippi, and that they are likely brother and sister. Frank and Mary are likely brother and sister. Now I want to reach out to this person, and I did. And I just want to show how this works out. I sent a message on the 10th. I said here, we share common ancestry. I probably said, hi, cousin. I did. And then I said, we share common ancestry out of Grenada, Mississippi. I have never met any of my Jackson lineage and am very excited to see our connection becoming more and more clear. I'm trying to find out all I can about my ancestors. Please let me know you got my message, and I hope you will talk with me. I will leave you my phone number, and I did that. I had a message back the same day. Hi, Dee Dee, and that's my nickname. It's a pleasure to meet you. I'm always excited to meet family, especially on Ancestry. I'd love to talk to you about the Jackson family, and he leaves his number. So I'm just saying that to say that I know that there's a pushback, and a lot of times you hear people say, "Oh, DNA is this," and I do agree that there is a big hoax, a part of the way DNA is being used to try to divert us to places that we are not from. But I do believe that there's a place for using DNA as a tool to make connections. And so that's what I wanted to show today, that I did make a connection with one of my lineage, a Jackson lineage that we really didn't know about. My father could not tell us about this family link, and now I can network with this family who didn't know about Mary. What do you think about that, KSR?
I think that's awesome. I think that's
Okay, okay.
like I said, I'm fairly new to ancestry and everything, but I ended up finding the link too. I don't know if I'm cutting you off or nothing like that.
Oh no, I'd like to hear you talk for a little while before I go. I would like actually for you to be like, my final wrap, and you can tell me about what you're telling me about, and you can wrap this show up for me.
Okay, cool. So like I said, I just buckled down and went with ancestry or whatnot. Of course, the whole price thing always threw me off. I was like, I gotta get beside that or whatever, and just buckle down and really try to get into this research for
Right,
genealogy or whatnot.
right.
So as I said the first time, the main lineages that I know about are surnames or whatnot, Staley and Wingate.
Okay,
So I started looking into the Staleys or whatnot. I had got back to like 1828 to an ancestor, and I was stuck there for a little while trying to get to their parents and stuff like that.
which is really far. I
And
want you to know.
man, it's pretty far. I feel pretty good about that.
Yeah.
Um, as I searched that same ancestor that was born in 1828 or whatnot, like I said, I'm still, of course, I'm new to it or whatnot. And what ended up happening was I found that ancestor's parents. But it kind of, the way I found it seemed like someone else had a tree on their page or whatnot.
Hmm.
And when I messaged them about they didn't. They said that they didn't really know anything about that surname.
Okay.
So I was trying to figure out how that even got on their page or whatnot. Like I said, I'm new to it. I'm still trying to figure it out or whatnot. But anyway, I ended up finding the parents of that ancestor that was born in 1828.
Okay.
And they are, um, his name was Charles Staley, and his parents are July Staley Sr. and I believe it's Rachel Staley, but her last name
How
is
how do you
North
spell
Staley.
that last name?
But Staley. Yeah, you can search it up if you want.
Yeah.
Got that too.
How about I do a search for that
Yeah,
last name?
yeah,
Because
that's fine. And if you
that's a
want, you can
unique, I don't think I've
stamp
ever
it.
heard that last name before. Staley,
Staley. Yeah.
S as in Sam.
S
Hmm.
Staley.
Okay. And what place might I put in for location?
This is South Carolina. You can do Orangeburg, but it kind of bounces Orangeburg, Columbia, Goodland, or whatever. But South Carolina.
Okay. I got Orangeburg County, South Carolina. I did not put a birth year because what I'm doing is I'm just looking for Staley's in that area, and then after that, after I get the search, just looking for Staley's in Orangeburg's Orangeburg County, then I'm going to select census.
Okay.
Okay. And so, how about let's do a census for what census do you have? How far back in the census do you have for Staley?
See, one second, one second, one second.
Okay.
And you know what? I actually went more by I went more by like death records and stuff too.
Okay.
Let me try to pull it up really quick.
I went with 1880 just for just to start off, so I
I
could.
think I think that'll work. I think that'll work.
Okay. And I do show
I can
some.
share his first name too if need be.
Okay, yeah, I will do that. So for right off the back, I just kind of do first. The first thing I usually do is I just do like a little bit, especially with unique last names. I do a general search and just see, what am I looking at in terms of records if I'm finding them right away. And right away, I see a plenty of Staleys that are in the Orangeburg area. So now I'm going to go back and edit search, and then I'll put in a first name. So what first name are you giving me?
Charles. Charles.
Do you have a birth year?
Yeah, 1828.
Okay. Okay. I have that. And all right. And so now I do have Charles Staley. And I had already selected only the 1880 results. I do have a Charles Staley in 1880, which is Goodland, Orangeburg, South Carolina. He is listed with as the head of household with Rachel, which you said, and he
Mm-hmm.
looks like maybe his children. So I am viewing the record or viewing the census report and looking at the household as it's highlighted.
And
Okay.
if I'm not mistaken, they're listed as mulatto too.
Yeah, they are. They are. They're listed as mulatto. And the first thing I do is I look up and down to see if there are other Staleys on the same page with them. And at this point, I don't see other Staleys on the same page. But that's the first thing. That's just something I just do automatically. But yeah, they are listed as mulatto, and we know that mulatto is first sign of that they are the American Indian and possibly Native American as well, and or maybe even a mixture of all three, which would be the European, the Native American, and the American Indian. Very unlikely that they would be African. Okay.
Yeah, you know
So
how. So that's okay.
okay, so I see now that I'm not plugged in and my computer is going to give me like just 2 minutes. But okay, so I'm seeing your Staley family here, and you said that you were able to find out who Charles' parents are, or this is where
I
you
did.
stopped at. Okay.
I was stuck at Charles, and as soon as I hopped on Ancestry and I searched Charles, I ended up coming across someone's page or whatnot with the family tree, and it showed Charles' parents, which was July Senior, July
Okay.
Senior.
Okay. Okay, well, I'm gonna close down the StreamYard before it closes down by itself. Davita, all right, OCO. We got a few other people that came in. If you don't mind, I'm gonna email you today, Empress. Have some. Oh, great, great. Okay, Original Night Wolf. You have my email. I know I posted it in another show, but I'm gonna post it now. I only have 1% remaining. Um, I'm just going to post this and then I'm going to end it because if I don't end it, hey Davita, then
Shut it down.
it'll shut down and it'll stay on. Okay, this is my email. I want
What?
to start helping with people get started or people, if they're stuck anywhere. So I wanted to let you all know that. And I'm going to stay on the phone with you. But I want to let you all know that. So I want to try to plan a time where maybe I can take a few names